Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Noelle and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel. And today I have a lovely book subscription to share with you that's been sent to me for review once again. It is, of course, the amazing Authentic Books. This is the premium experience because, of course, when you are selecting your book and your box, you get to choose between 3 different experiences. There is the mini, full, and premium, which are priced at $42, $52, and $62 plus shipping. I think the shipping right now is $9.99. For all of those subscriptions, I do have a discount code for you. It's Noelle10. I will leave that as well as a link for you in the description box below. And I think lately she's also been playing around with the idea of doing boxes that don't necessarily include the book, because I know a lot of you avid readers get your books from the library or different places, but you do still want to get in on the awesome goodies that are included in these boxes, sometimes by small makers, which of course we absolutely love that when a small business is able to support another small business. So let's talk about the items that come in the different levels of the boxes. Now, with all of the boxes, you're going to get one of the books, obviously, and of course you can add things on. So if one of the 3 choices is the one you select for your box, you can go ahead and add on the other 2 titles if you want to as well. And then you can also add on things like candles and chocolates and all of the other amazing goodies if you just want to up the ante on your box. But the mini box will include the book of your selection. And again, there's always 3 options now, usually a thriller, usually a contemporary fiction, and usually a romance. So a little something for everybody. And I kind of dabble, I go back and forth, not so much on the romance, but definitely just reading the blurbs, deciding if I want a contemporary fiction or a mystery thriller for that month. You'll get your book, you'll get a bookmark, you'll get a Spotify playlist, you'll get the recipe, you'll get a cocktail recipe. You also get to know that you are supporting a great organization. I think they are still doing the Adopt a Classroom Foundation. 5% of your membership goes towards that. It does. You get this nice guide that Natisha puts together to guide you through the process. And then of course you also get a candle, because the whole idea is for the reading experience to be a sensory one. So for the sense of sight, we have the book, of course. For the sense of touch, you will get a touch item. So usually like a self-care item or another kind of lifestyle item. And then of course for the sense of smell, you do get the candle even in the mini boxes. The next level up, you get a little bit more sensory experience, sensory indulgence, because you get 2 touch items and then you also get a taste item. And now you can choose between a drink mix, a tea, or a coffee, which I think that is so nice to have all of those options. And then of course, when you level up one more time to the premium experience, you get 3 touch items, so you're getting quite a bit. You get to have that first taste item and you get a second taste item, which will be a premium chocolate. So I always think that that is super fun. So in the premium boxes, which is what I highly suggest if your budget allows, I know it does get kind of pricey on a monthly basis, you would wind up with the 3 touch items as well as 2 taste items, and then the candle for smell. So 6 gifts in there, along with the smaller things like the author's note and the bookmark and all of that kind of fun stuff. So she does this lovely booklet, like I said. And you can see inside, it does tell us to take a peek. And right now they're organizing it by the senses versus by box. For a while it was like this was everything in the mini box, and then the full box, and then the premium. And right now it's more like, here's the book, here's the sense of smell that everybody gets, here's the 2 taste items, and then here are the 3 touch items, which I don't mind. I do like when she actually includes some of the page numbers that inspired the gifts, because a lot of the times I won't necessarily remember otherwise. And then when I go back and I finally indulge and start to use some of the products, I'm like, where did that come from? Where was the inspiration? I should have been looking for it as I was reading the book. And again, like I said, we have that cocktail recipe and our nice Story Eats food recipe. This time around for the book that I selected, which is Sarah Penner's follow-up, or not really a follow-up, it's just, I think it's her second book, is the London Seance Society. She, of course, wrote The Lost Apothecary, which was to great acclaim I think a couple of years ago. So the book cocktail is a spicy ginger black tea. That sounds amazing. I do love cocktails with ginger in them. And the story eats is an Earl Grey, it says early gray, but I think it's Earl Grey panna cotta. Not much of a panna cotta fan. I'm not like a flan girl either. So, and then she does feature one of the makers, which I always think is nice. This time it is the chocolate maker, so we'll have to talk about that. We have some nice coupon codes for some of the other makers in the box, so you can get those at a discount. And we also have our editor's note from the amazing Natisha. It says, "Are you ready for an authentic books book club? For sure. After months of planning the perfect way to do this for our wonderful community, we're glad to roll out this new member perk. Starting with April boxes, you will be invited to an exclusive book club just for your book pick. A code will be inside of your box to enter the private room via the app Fable." So that is super cool. And as some of you know, we also have our own book club for this YouTube community. It's called the Book Nook because our Facebook group is the Nobot Nook because we call viewers of the channel Nobots. I know it's a long story, but we are using authentic book selections for our first year, and we're doing it on a quarterly basis. So we've already selected our April book, which will probably arrive towards the end of April or the beginning of May. So it's probably waiting for me when I get home. And then we read it over the course of a month and have little discussions in our Facebook group. So if you're interested in joining that, you can definitely join the Authentic Books one. I will definitely probably hop in there as well. But you can also join our little Nobot Book Nook as well. And I would love to see you guys in there. All right. I know we need to get to the book and all of the items, but since I don't really have passages to read to you today, I might be able to go at a little bit of a quicker clip. I did pull everything out, but I wanted to show you how gorgeous the interior of these boxes is. I just absolutely love them. And for once, my box did not come super duper damaged, and I'm pretty caught up on my books right now. So it's kind of nice to get to use the items a little bit sooner than usual. So we did get our nice hardcover. Of course, it's got our Authentic Books seal on there, which I like. Sometimes they kind of pop off when I'm sliding them into the bookshelf, which I don't mind because if I ever wanted to glue them back on, I can. I just kind of keep them all in a cute little bowl on the side. We also got a signed book plate, which I think is a really nice perk. That's not necessarily something we always get, but I do love it. We always get our quote bookmark. I am sad to see that we didn't get a silky tassel because I have all of my authentic books lined up on one shelf with all of their bookmark tassels hanging out to the side. But the quote, of course, says, "May mercy be upon the man who finds himself the enemy of a vengeful medium," because we are definitely in the world of the occult and spiritualism, and she does a really good job of setting the scene, Sarah Penner does. And then, of course, we have our author's note, and I always love when it's in a nice handwriting. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to read, but I do my best. And I do think it's really cool that in this book there were some nice extras as well. So let me just share some of that with you. Let me see if I can find it. So we had an author's note, and it does tell us that she really did do a lot of research about this time period and what was kind of popular or common during seances and where she sort of embellished or added on. She tells us about Victorian mourning customs, Victorian funeral feasting, and even includes some recipes back here. A do-it-yourself 3-layer trick candle, because yes, there was a lot of fraudulent seance having back in the day. And then she also even has like a works cited, like a further reading back here, which I think that was a really kind of cool insider look at the book. But let me go ahead and read the little blurb on the inside cover, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So again, we're getting these nice like new releases, which I always really love, and now I'm a hardcover snob again. I didn't used to be. I used to be like, oh, I'll just get it from the library, but I really love like being able to see all the books I've read. It says, amid the shrouded parlors of Victorian London, 2 daring women hunt for truth and justice in the perilous art of conjuring the dead. 1873. At an abandoned chateau on the outskirts of Paris, a dark seance is about to take place, led by acclaimed spiritualist Vaudeline Dallaire, known worldwide for her talent in conjuring the spirits of murder victims to ascertain the identities of the people who killed them. She is highly sought after by widows and investigators alike. Lena Wicks has come to Paris to find answers about her sister's death, but to do so she must embrace the unknown and overcome her own logic-driven bias against the occult. When Vaudeline is beckoned to England to solve a high-profile murder, Lena accompanies her as an understudy. But as the women team up with with the powerful men of London's exclusive Seance Society to solve the mystery, they begin to suspect that they are not merely out to solve a crime, but perhaps entangled in one themselves. Written with alluring suspense and sultry prose, the London Seance Society is an entrancing tale that explores the blurred lines between truth and illusion and reveals the grave risks women will take to avenge the ones they love. So yes, it is pretty cool. Some interesting romances come up, but you know, there you have to have a little willing suspension of disbelief, and that is definitely the character that Lena represents, because her sister was into it and wanted to study under Vaudeline, and so now that her sister was unfortunately murdered, she has to avenge her death, because Vaudeline doesn't just do it to make money and to just kind of out of curiosity allow you to connect with the dead, but really to find and avenge people who have been murdered and done wrong. So she's like definitely an investigator, seance haver, I guess, who can commune with the dead in very interesting and very like step-by-step processes. So let's talk about the items that we receive. So it says, let's see, this is of course in all of the book boxes, and then also in all of the book boxes is this members only soy wax candle, and these are all made by Authentic Books. They make their own candles in-house. This one is exclusive because it is an author collaborated item, which she's doing more and more of, which I just think is super duper cool. It says, so members only is the name of it. It came in that nice brown box in this simple amber jar. It says members only has notes of frankincense, sweet bergamot, and smoky rose, because yes, we're going into all these dark spaces, these men's only clubs where the women have to be dressed in disguise and people are discovered in sub basements. It says our candles are always hand stirred and poured in the Authentic Book studio using non-toxic ingredients. We have a little like, ooh, it's like a black candle. I love that. How cool. That's a little bit of a deviation with some stones and rose petals. So, ooh, that is very like deep and sultry, very much has the frankincense and the smoky rose in it. And sweet bergamot, I'm seeing that, but it's a pretty intense scent. It's very almost like more fall scent for me than a spring scent for sure. But perfect for if you are going to light your candle every time you get into this dark world of mystery and dead people. All right, so again, taste number one, that is going to be only in the full boxes. So next level up above premium, and you get to choose cocktail mix, coffee, always by Sunday mornings. This time it was an Irish cream, or tea, this time by Maho Sensory. It was a London fog, of course, because it's taking place in London. Earl Grey tea, which sounds delicious, and the packaging on that looks really good. Now they have started doing a different kind of packaging. Used to be these like black bubble mailers, and now it's these nice like craft brown ones. And I almost always go for the cocktail mixer, but you can't go wrong. This is from Portland Syrups, which they use all the time, and this is going to go into that cocktail recipe that they have in the booklet. It is a spicy ginger syrup, which that just sounds amazing. I feel like that could be good just with some vodka and shaken up and put into a fancy martini glass, maybe with a little sprig of some sort of herb, but that sounds amazing. And the cocktail is just a cup of black tea, so you get that black tea flavor, a tablespoon of the spicy ginger syrup, and lemon slices. Ooh, that sounds awesome. All right, so that was actually, let's see, that was a non-alcoholic actually book cocktail, so that's kind of cool, but you could put a splash of a spirit in there. It makes sense to put some spirits in it, especially with this particular book. All right, so taste number two that would only be in the premium boxes is going to be our chocolate from Ritual, which we've definitely gotten some Ritual chocolates before, but that's just appropriate because of the name of the company, of course. It says made with our Belize 75% chocolate and topped with house-made honeycomb toffee. Utah is also known as the Beehive State, so we couldn't resist making a chocolate bar that represents our state. Oh, I was like, this has nothing to do with Utah, but that's probably coming from the folks at Ritual. So yes, in dark chocolate. So dark chocolate and Ritual. That's why this fits in with this particular box. Now, touch number one. This is going to be in all of the boxes, starting with the mini. That is also this time in a little mailer. This one is an Authentic Books original because they do work with folks. Ooh, it's protection spray. So it's lavender and white sage. It's a little 2-ounce spray. It says a blend of coffee beans from ex-coffee roasters with Venezuelan cocoa butter and hazelnuts to create, oh no, we got a chocolate. That is a chocolate bar description because it said, I think this happened in the last box too. It says to create a creamy vegan white chocolate bar. I'm like, nope. That is not the paragraph that's supposed to go there. This is a protection spray. It's basically a linen spray, but like I said, it does say it's lavender and white sage. So let me give that a sniff. Ooh, that's good. I like the sage. I definitely, sometimes lavender can be, I like lavender paired with something instead of just like straight on lavender, because sometimes it can be a little bit cloying, but I do like the sage. I like anything really herbal. All right, so everybody got that spray. Touch number 2, which is going to be only in the full and premium boxes, we got a black honey face sheet mask. This is kind of nice because a lot of the times touch number 1 is a sheet mask, and I feel like, you know, it's a kind of a less expensive item. So it's kind of nice this time around that if you just get the mini box, you've got a kind of something different for your touch number 1. So this is from JM Solution. It says, time to fight the grime with our DC superhero sheet face mask. I think that some of the copy didn't get changed out in this brochure. So this is, I think it's just to go with the like dark, deep and dark. So it's the Honey Luminous Royal Propolis Mask. So that sounds awesome, but I can't read any more to you about it because it's mostly in Korean on the back. But yeah, so because that is definitely not a DC superhero sheet mask. All right, let's see if we have the right description for touch number 3. So touch number 3 is only going to be in your premium boxes, and that is a smudge kit. So yes, because this one didn't have to get changed out. So this is a traditional smudge kit. So of course we have our little bit of sage here, and then we have our feather to brush it around. This is from Montague Native Crafts. So I'm assuming this would be sourced correctly, the correct source for sage, because there's a lot of sort of rules about that, I guess. It says, smudge your space with a traditional sage stick and feather, just like in your book. Set a mood for your home at house seance if you dare. Smudging is an ancient and sacred ritual of cleansing and purifying using sacred herbs. The smoke cleanses the energy and then carries the prayers upward into the spirit skies. It is important to be clear of mind and heart when preparing to smudge. So if this is from, see, it says handcrafted in Canada, it is 100% native owned, so that is perfect. That's good. We know we're sourcing it. I like when we source it from indigenous people, because this is really their tradition that we are accessing and learning from and using in our own lives. So that's kind of a cool thing to have that sort of ritual. I don't know that they necessarily had seances. Definitely, I feel like every culture sort of has seances, etc., but in some way, shape, or form to commune with or connect with the dead, especially if they've been wronged. So let me go ahead and read the author's note to you guys. So it says, Dear Authentic Book Box readers, I'm thrilled to share with you my second novel. Yes, so it is her second novel, The London Seance Society. And they must have had like the same artist do the cover, because it looks very much like The Lost Apothecary. It tells the story of esteemed spiritualist Vaudeline Dallaire, known for her ability to conjure the spirits of murder victims to ascertain the identity of their killers. She takes an apprentice, Lena Wicks, who doesn't believe in ghosts but desperately wants to find out what happened to her little sister Evie, who died under unusual circumstances. Set in Victorian London, the London Seance Society is full of mystery, sensuality, and of course, ghosts. I hope you love it, and don't forget to say hi on Instagram. So I love her handwriting. I usually like when the artist tells us, or the writer tells us a little bit more about their inspiration or the experience of writing it, or what was going on in their personal lives when they're writing, because to me this is just a little bit like regurgitation of the blurb. But we do get a little bit of that in the author's note, for example, just in terms of like the research, like I said, that went into it. So let me see. In the late Victorian era, the spiritualist movement, central to which was communication with the dead, especially through mediums, was in its heyday. Victorians were fascinated by anything supernatural, otherworldly, or occult. Parlor room seances were a frequent occurrence, as were public theatrical displays of mediumship and physic power. So I think physic power, but also psychic power, says, by and large, the most well-known mediums of this time were women. Spiritualism was one of the only professions in which women were more highly respected than men. This had to do with the belief that a woman's passivity, femininity, and intuition allowed her to access otherworldly realms more easily than a man, because a man was considered less likely to submit to a spirit taking control of his psyche. So I always do think that's kind of an interesting sort of like feminist way of moving into the story. And then if you do have the opportunity to read the book, there is definitely some female empowerment and relationships and the different kinds of relationships we have. Obviously, we have like a sister, we have a mentor, we have some romance. So I did think it was pretty good. It's a little more fantastical than what I usually read, but I do enjoy sort of delving into another world, and she does have very evocative writing, and you kind of get into it, and there was a good mystery where I wasn't totally sure like who done it in the beginning, so there were some surprises. You guys, let me know in the comments below if you've read this, if you've read The Lost Apothecary, what you thought about this, what your favorite gift in this premium box would be, and if you haven't already tried out authentic books, I think it is a great way to get back into reading and also getting to kind of customize your box. So definitely join us if you would like to, and I will see you all very, very soon in my next unboxing.